Ahoj, tady je Marcel z Mixed Sports Media a MMA Shorties a tohle je vaše zkratka do světa MMA. Dnes mám tady legendu UFC Dana Severna. Hey Dan, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Having the time of my life here in Columbus, Ohio at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic.
What are you up to these days?
What am I up to? We don't have that much time to cover all the stuff that I'm up to. I do a lot of unique things. I do a lot of speaking engagements, but I do a lot of instructional type of stuff. So I like teaching still my favorite sport, amateur wrestling, but then I also teach other stuff like professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, law enforcement. I do so many different things. It's too much to list.
Yeah, I saw that on your Instagram that you still do lots of wrestling and coaching.
Yes, again, the coach, I always say, as I get too old to continue to do other stuff, I'll continue to coach and share my knowledge.
So where did you usually start, like fighting or doing the wrestling?
Well, the amateur wrestling, just now I said back in 7th grade 1969 is when I started. So 1969, that was a long time ago. I started my amateur wrestling, but then by my freshman year in high school, I started doing freestyle wrestling. By my sophomore year, Greco-Roman wrestling. I went to college, and then I incorporated judo, sambo, and then by 1992, I got into professional wrestling. Vince McMahon, WWF. Then I ended up getting into, by 1994, Ultimate Fighting Championship. So many decades, many different things.
I saw your post that you're going still to the gym. How many times per week are you working out?
Oh, every other day. Yeah, even when I travel, see, most people think they have to go to the gym. What does that floor cost you? Nothing. Most people don't just. Most people they lack the ambition. If you can get over the fact that I'm going to go to the gym, or you can just your gym could be at home. So, the last 2 years have been interesting because of COVID. A lot of gyms, a lot of places have been locked down. So again, you have to be very creative just do things at home. Get outside, go do stuff, go for a walk.
What about the MMA or wrestling?
Oh, again, now that'll be limited only if I have those type of equipment, if I have the mats, stuff like that. I mean, almost every weekend I'm somewhere doing something. I do a lot of teaching type of things. Now, if I split my time. Part of my time I'm in Arizona where I live, and part of my time I'm in Michigan where I live. So again, having mats and things of that nature. I mean, but there's certain things that I'll be doing here today you don't need mats for. Again, having the ability, the knowledge of how to do things.
You're a big legend in the UFC. Are you still watching the fights or not really?
I never watched them in the first place. That's the sad part. And again, I don't mean that to say something mean or spiteful. Again, I just don't watch much television at all. I go and I will go to an event like a UFC party. But most of the time, I think I spend more time talking than actually watching, the television to watch it. But I do, because of the internet, I can watch this particular match here or that particular match there. So I do watch a match here or there, but very rarely do I watch an entire show.
Last time I saw you, it was at the Jacksonville at the UFC, and I still saw like you have the fire and you enjoyed the fights.
Well, no, I do. I enjoy it because as I'm watching the fights, my mind's going through like what's going through their mind. Or as I see it now, the coaching comes out to me. It's like going, no, I'll say move this way. No, move that way. And then again, I enjoy that because your mind is telling you. You wish you could you wish you sometimes could take the knowledge you have up here and give it to them. But, sometimes they have to learn, and sometimes they have to learn the hard way.
We are here at the Arnold Expo, and are you a big believer in recovery?
Recovery is very important, especially as the aging athlete. Or just, you don't even have to be, there are more people in the world that are aging than there are young people. So I'm a big believer of doing a lot of different things where you can make life a little bit easier for yourself, because too many people, we sit down too much. So by getting up and moving around, mobility, but you have to work your body and you have to work your mind, because they're both going to go.
And you supporting this recovery program. How big is recovery for you and your workout?
Well, again, this is just one element of recovery, but again, I like it. You have the ability of climbing into a chamber that take care of the whole body, or you can just isolate, like maybe it's just on my hip, maybe on my knee, or something like that, or a shoulder. But I'm a big believer that as one gets older, you have to take care of the body, because otherwise you're going to be sitting for the rest of your life.
Which one of your fights was the most memorable for you?
Well, there's a couple different things that are very memorable for me. For example, while walking out there the first time, I did not know what I was getting myself into. I mean, I kind of sort of did because I watched 2 videotapes and I knew what I got to get myself into. So going out there the first time and then after that, going the second time. But I mean, I have a couple that really stand out. I mean, like, for example, this particular belt right here, this is a very memorable belt for me because I set a record. I fought 3 men in one night and I was inside of a cage just over 1 hour. Now think about that, fighting 3 men, no holds barred. Okay, fighting 3 men over 1 hour and only 2 rules, no biting, no eye gouging. And this was in Denver, Colorado, mile high elevation, so cardiovascular. So again, each of my belts means something different to me.
What is your thoughts about the trend right now that everybody wants to have 2 champions, 2 belts at the same time?
Good for them if that's what they want to do. If they can do it, that's fine. I mean, I look at it this way. Before there's only 1 weight class. Anybody could come in there. Now they got different weight classes. They get going, if you're capable of doing it, why not? It sets you apart from everybody else.
Back then when you work out, do you like to listen to music or do you have any special music that pumps you up?
No, not really. I mean, to me, it's like going, they're not usually playing music while you're fighting. They're not usually doing other music. You actually have to have something either in your own mind or your own heart in order to do things. So I don't need it. If I have it there, sure, I'll listen to it. A lot of times when I'm working out early in the morning, I'll turn on a radio, but a lot of times I'm listening to talk radio just to hear what's going on in the world,
What will you say to the new fighters, like a guidance, or what you will tell them?
The things that young fighters got to realize is that your career is only going to last so long. I never figured I would be going this many years. I always had different exit strategies. Knowing that your career only lasts so long, you then have to go on and do something else. Well, like now I'm here at an Arnold Classic, but I mean that's only 1 weekend. What am I continue to do? So I have many jobs that I do, but most of it is just being the person I am to still get up and work out, and get. I've got a phenomenal database, so I'm doing that. I have a podcast on top of that, so I have a podcast here that's known as Toxic Masculinity. That's just a podcast. Again, but people, that's a way for people to get in contact with you because they only know you as the fighter. I want them to know that there's a lot more to Dan Severn than knowing how to fight. I have a brain. I'm a smart athlete.
What is success means to you?
Well, success to me is something that keeps you excited, that wants you to get your butt out of bed in the morning. And again, because a lot of people, they become complacent in life. And they need something that's going to get them going. I love what I do. In fact, how many different people am I going to meet here today? And I want to do my best to win them over with knowledge and content. Not because I'm like, look at me because I achieved. No. You still got to be a decent human being to other people. So I treat everybody else the same way I want to be treated, and that's kind of a lost art anymore.
Also, do you like the old UFC or the new era of the MMA and fighting?
Well, I mean, honestly, that's really not up to me. It's whatever the current rules are, you have to abide by. If you were to watch any of the fans, a lot of the fans will say, if we had 2 TV screens showing new and showing old, more people would be watching the old because it was so much more barbaric. You could headbutt, you could sucker kick people in the face, you could knee them in the head, and when you watch the new stuff, it's kind of going, very nice little competition, yes. But you always have to go by what are the current rules. I had to watch it go through rule after rule after rule.